Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's CJ. This is the CJ Curry Show, sponsored by PrizePicks. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, now's a great time to get started. 100% instant deposit match still going on. If you've never played on PrizePicks before, this offer's for you. Use promo code Curry, deposit up to $100, get $100 back instantly. Check out the link down in the description below to get started. Shout out to everybody who's joining me this morning. We had just a short NBA slate yesterday, but we're back at it with many more games to talk about. I got 5 picks that I've come across today, doing a little poking around, looking around the internet, the interwebs. I found a few picks that are standing out. We're going to research those picks together. These aren't necessarily my picks, just some picks that I found, and we're going to take a look at the research and do a little bit of a deep dive and see if these picks are good ones to go for more or less than the projection over on PrizePicks. So shout out to everybody who's joining me this morning. Who we got in here today? We got Roy in the building, one of our Patreon members. Patreon's been doing pretty well. We've been sharing our picks nightly with NBA, NHL, NFL, and a bunch of other sports. So if you're looking for a friendly community of like-minded individuals, people without egos, people who are not out to lead you astray or to put you on a bad pick. I mean, we're all trying to help each other, basically. That's what it's all about. I've set up a community for that. There's links to Patreon and Discord and all the things that I've got going on down in the description of the video as well. So shout out to Roy, one of our Patreon members. Another Patreon member we have here this morning is Mr. Anthony Ruiz. Good afternoon, he says. Come see us in Patreon. We making money and building that bankroll. Friday specials on PrizePicks. That's right. We should be getting a Flex Friday promo on PrizePicks. They've been running these Flex Friday promotions every single Friday. And on top of that, we've got happy hour, which means they lower their minimum entry amounts from $5 down to $1. So you can play a entry and risk just $1 if maybe you're one of the type of players who likes to kind of dabble in different things, try new sports. Today's a great day to do that. Once happy hour goes live, for $1, you could turn that into 10 times your money, up to $10. So pretty nice day today for different promos. Flex Friday plus the happy hour. And if you're a Patreon member or a Discord member, free to join the Discord, by the way, link for the Discord down in the description below. I give away free entries every single Friday. I call it Free Entry Friday. What it is a 2-pick risk-free entry for you to win $100. So I give back to my Patreon members. I give back to the community as much as I can, thanks to my fantastic partnership with PrizePicks. They've allowed me to give away free entries to win money on PrizePicks. So I'll definitely be giving away some free entries again today. Going through the rest of the chat here, we got King United in the building. He said they called me a madman for taking the under on Joel Embiid yesterday. Well, it looks like it came through for you, especially his points, right? Neville says, CJ, Wagwan, I see you. Is that patois? I believe that's patois. Am I getting that right? Wagwan, I think that's patois. I don't know. I could be wrong. Jodinho says, "Let's get this money." Might be Jamaican. Might be Jamaican too, right? One of them islands. I might be off. Anyway, Craig says, "Oh snap, we going in again." What's up, Craig? Shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Ronald Green, what's up? He's back, baby. Ronald Green with the what's up. Jeffrey Steele says, "I've got beef with you, CJ, for using that picture of Jimmy. Heat culture does not approve of the use of this image." What you mean, man? You don't like Jimmy Buckets with the long hair? Come on, man. Forget Becky with the good hair. There's Jimmy with the good hair, man. My boy went out and got himself some fresh extensions. What's wrong with that? He wanted to, elevate his beautification, we'll just say. Yeah, Jimmy Bermuda. I like that name. He's not Jimmy Buckets. He's Jimmy Bermuda. Trill Fate. What's happening, brother? Thanks for coming back. Mark H says, "What's up? Back to being profitable." Oh, back to back profitable days in NBA. Thanks to the Patreon gang. Let's run it back. Yeah, Patreon gang showing up and showing out. Appreciate you guys. Louis HD, good morning to you. Jeremiah Carter, what's good? Let's make this bread. I'm in on making some bread. Anthony C's is in the building. Good morning, Mr. Curry. Good morning back to you. Oh, Jamaican language is patois. See, there you go. I'm learning new stuff. I knew I was kind of right. I was in there. What do they call the language in Haiti, Haitian. Is that patois as well, or is that something else? I know it's like Creole or something. I'm trying to figure it out. Help me out, Neville. If you got the answers, seems like you got the answers when it comes to the linguistics of dialects and things of that nature. Michael Johnson's in the building. What's happening, brother? Tyrone McGrew says, what's up, CJ in the Patreon gang? Thank goodness it's Friday. Good day to make some money. Ken says, what's up? What's up back at you, Ken? Yeah. Neville says it is Creole. All right. I'm figuring it out, All right, let's go ahead and solve today's Poeltl, guys. We got a little puzzle guessing game. Get things started. Get our brains warmed up before we dive into these props. See, my brain's not warmed up as it is. So let's go ahead and get to business. Drop a like on today's stream. We fell short yesterday. Yesterday we went for less than 99.5. We're going to try to go for more than 99.5 and bounce back. So, yeah, let's get into Poeltl and see what's good with that. We could start off with any player we want. The first guess can really be anyone. Let's start it off with today's thumbnail athlete, Mr. Jimmy Buckets, a.k.a. Jimmy Bermuda, according to some people. Wow. Well, that was a bad guess. That was a bad guess. Why was it a bad guess? Well, we didn't get a single match, not a partial match, no green, no yellow. What we do know from this, though, is that this player does not play in the Eastern Conference. He's in the Western Conference, so we're going to be guessing a Western Conference player for show, right? And this player is going to be taller than 6'7", younger than 33, jersey number higher than 22. So who could this be? We thinking maybe it could be a center. I think maybe it could be a center, right? What about like a DeAndre Ayton? I'm just throwing a name out there. DeAndre Ayton. Ooh, well, we got some matches. As we figured, this guy is in the Western Conference. He is a center, and he is taller than 6'11", older than 24 years old. Jersey number is going to be one higher than 22. Jokic? Jokic is playing tonight, gang. We got a good game between the Denver Nuggets and... who are they playing? Anyway, I don't know. Jokic is playing tonight. I forgot who they're playing, but let's try Jokic out. Could it be the Joker himself? It is not. It is not the Joker, but this person is in the Northwest. He is a center, taller than 6'11". I thought Joker was up there at 7 feet, but maybe he's not. But this person is older than 27, younger than 33. We got a jersey number of 15 for Jokic, so that wasn't really a good guess. Right? We shouldn't have guessed Joker. You guys are saying Towns. We're saying Rudy Gobert. Warriors. Oh, Warriors. Yeah. Nuggets and Warriors. Good game. Yeah, Nuggets and Warriors. Nurkic? I think Nurkic's jersey number, I don't know if he qualifies or not. And I think he's in the Pacific, right? Rudy Gobert. A lot of Rudy Gobert and Towns guesses. Let's go with Karl Anthony Towns first. Minnesota Timberwolves is a correct guess. This player is obviously in the Northwest. Towns center / forward. He's 6'11" too. We keep guessing these 6'11" guys. We keep guessing all these dudes that are 6'11". Let me ask you this: is Gobert older than 27? I don't know. Jersey number is going to be below 32, so somewhere between 22 and 32. I am not sure what Rudy Gobert's number is, but we do know this player is on the Minnesota Timberwolves. If it's not Rudy Gobert, maybe it's like Naz Reid or somebody like that. Oh. Well, you guys got it right. The Rudy Gobert gang out there got it right. It is Rudy Gobert, new member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Guys, can we talk about Rudy Gobert for just a second? What is going on with Rudy Gobert? All of a sudden, he joins the Minnesota Timberwolves and becomes this prolific scorer. I've never, in all my wildest dreams, expected to see Rudy Gobert to be a scorer like he is. It seems like they're purposely trying to feature this guy on offense. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I see Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns kind of taking a step back in the scoring, and all of a sudden Rudy Gobert's scoring is going up now that he's with the Minnesota Timberwolves, I start scratching my head a little bit. I don't know what the Minnesota Timberwolves are doing, but they seem to be featuring Rudy Gobert on offense. Maybe he was being held back by the likes of Donovan Mitchell and Bogdanovich and Conley and some of these guys that he had playing with him alongside in Utah. Maybe he was being held back. Maybe he's really got some offensive weaponry. But yeah, Rudy Gobert has become an offensive threat. I took the under or the less on his points at 14.5. I was like, ain't no way, right? There's no way this guy playing alongside of Towns, of Edwards, of Russell, that he's going to score more than 14 and a half points. Man, he killed it. He went way over 14 and a half points. But yeah, Rudy Gobert has seemed to found himself some offense. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's run through today's NBA slate real quick and take a look at some news. NBA news to watch, key injury news to watch. Keep an eye on Jamal Murray. He is being considered questionable right now. Injury management. Nikola Jokic apparently has an injured finger, but he's probable. I think he plays. Cole Anthony was a late scratch the other night in the Orlando Magic season debut. Due to an illness, he is questionable at the moment, so keep an eye on the Orlando Magic backcourt. Joe Harris is considered to be in tonight for Brooklyn. I'm sure Brooklyn will welcome the outside shooting of Joe Harris back. They're probably missing a floor stretcher like him, a guy like Seth Curry. You know, these types of guys important to the Brooklyn Nets offense. So Joe Harris should be in tonight after dealing with some sort of foot issue. Jalen Smith, he is considered questionable. He did end up playing the other night, and Miles Turner was a late scratch for the Indiana Pacers. So Jalen Smith should be back in the lineup, I would guess, unless they plan on resting him. And maybe Miles Turner actually suits up tonight. Maybe they do a little flip-flop switcheroo there. Maybe Turner plays and Smith sits. Dillon Brooks, dealing with a thigh injury, is considered doubtful. Now, last season when Dillon Brooks was out, I mean, Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, those guys really stepped up without Dillon Brooks. So I expect a big game if Dillon Brooks is truly out for Memphis. And then you've got Khadijah. Shout out to Living Single. Khadijah. No, that ain't his name. I don't know how you say his name. I'm going to call this guy Denny. He is expected to play for Washington. He is not Khadijah, though. I can tell you that much. Running through the other news here, the New Orleans Pelicans, they've got a couple of guys on the report. Jackson Hayes is questionable. Kira Lewis is injured. Charlotte Hornets, no Cody Martin. He's probably doubtful, not going to play. LaMelo Ball still out for the Charlotte Hornets. Moving down to the San Antonio Spurs. No injury news for them. They seem to be healthy. Indiana Pacers, keep an eye on Miles Turner. It says he's injured right now. Like I said, he was a late scratch before the last game. Jalen Smith, Aaron Nesmith, both questionable. We talked about Jalen Smith already. Chris Duarte is available, so he should be good to go. Daniel Tice still out for Indiana. Moving down to the Chicago Bulls, we got Zach LaVine, injury management. He is out, so that should be a bump up to the likes of Ayo Dosunmu. We got, DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, Nikola Vucevic. Lonzo Ball also out for the Chicago Bulls. Washington Wizards, Kristaps Porzingis. Apparently, he's dealing with some sort of little ankle issue. He is available to play, though. We talked about Khadijah. Khadijah's going to play, y'all. I'm going to keep calling this man Khadijah because now I'm just on this living single trip. But he's expected to play. Corey Kispert is injured. Orlando Magic, we already talked about Cole Anthony. Mo Wagner is out. Markelle Fultz is continuing to sit for Orlando with a fractured toe. Gary Harris is injured. Jonathan Isaac is injured. But I've been hearing some good things about J.I. Hopefully he comes back soon for Orlando. Mr. Bogdanovich for the Hawks is injured. I don't think he's going to play tonight. Toronto Raptors, they've got Boucher, who sat out in the first game. He is questionable tonight. Khem Birch is available to play. Otto Porter Jr. is out for Toronto. We talked about Joe Harris being in for Brooklyn. Seth Curry is still out. TJ Warren still working his way back from an injury. No Danilo Gallinari or Robert the Time Lord Williams for the Boston Celtics tonight as they take on the Miami Heat. Speaking of the Heat, Victor Oladipo is out. Omar Yurtseven is also out. Moving it down, talking Detroit Pistons. Nerlens Noel, he's coming back from some foot issue, working on his conditioning. Obviously, he was with the New York Knicks last season, so new addition for the Pistons. He is TBD. We're not sure of his status, but he's not very impactful anyways. Marvin Bagley's out. Alec Burks is out. Isaiah Livers, you tell me how to say it, is out. New York Knicks, Quentin Grimes is out. Memphis Grizzlies, we talked about Dillon Brooks. We got Zaire Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Danny Green all out or injured. Jayshawn Tate is out for the Houston Rockets. Azubuike out for the Utah Jazz. Nobody of note for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray is questionable. Nikola Jokic is probable. We talked about those guys already. Patrick Baldwin Jr., Andre Iguodala, both out for Golden State. Phoenix Suns, Cam Johnson is available, Landry Shamet is out, Jay Crowder is out as they continue to shop him and try to find a trade suitor. Doesn't look like Jay Crowder's going to be back with the Phoenix Suns. And then Gary Payton II, last but not least, dealing with a core muscle injury. He's going to be out for the Portland Trail Blazers. So there you go. That's all the news that's happening in the league. A lot of things to keep an eye on, especially as you get closer to tip-off. Sometimes value can open up whenever you're on top of the NBA injury news. Taking a look at the totals for these games, 232.5 points for the San Antonio, Indiana game. I love what I'm seeing there. That's a very high total with a spread of just 2.5 points, gang. A game that's going to be high scoring, stay close, stay competitive, hopefully. I like that one. We're going to talk about some picks from that game. Chicago and Washington, another game with a pretty decent total, 222.5. We already talked about Zach LaVine being out. Bump up to Ayo. Bump up to DeRozan, bump up to Vucevic more than likely as well. So that one's going to be a fun one. Expect some points to be scored in that one. Neither team really all that interested in playing defense. New Orleans and Charlotte, that one's got a 229 point total, 6.5 point spread. So very big total on that game. Spread's not so favorable. 6.5 points could turn into a blowout. Speaking of blowout, Orlando, 9-point underdogs against the Hawks. So expect a blowout in that one. You might want to stick to playing first half only picks. If you like playing the more or the overs, you might want to stick to first half only more or overs in that game if you think it does turn into a blowout. Boston and Miami, one of the big games for tonight, 219 points. Kind of a low total from that one, but a good spread, 2.5. Hopefully it goes all 4 quarters and we get lots of run from all the stars in that game. Toronto and Brooklyn, 227.5, 2.5 point spread. That one's got a pretty good total on it, and spread looks to stay close and competitive. Looks like it's going to be one of those interesting games, right? Because Scotty Barnes was being dangled in trade talks for Kevin Durant. Toronto was one of the teams that was lining up, knocking on the Brooklyn Nets door, trying to get KD over to the Six, but they ultimately held on to Scotty Barnes, and the trade didn't happen, obviously. Detroit, New York, 219.5 points, 7-point spread. We've got Memphis and Houston, 232.5. Big time offensive game there. Lots of points expected to be scored. 6.5 point spread, though, could get out of hand. Memphis should take care of business against Houston. Utah and Minnesota. We got a revenge game tonight. Rudy Gobert against his former team. We talked about Rudy being featured on offense. Well, listen, gang. If they're going to feature Rudy Gobert against anybody, it's going to be the Utah Jazz. So do not be surprised if Rudy Gobert goes for another 20-point performance against his former team. I would not be shocked if that happens. Denver, Golden State, 229.5, pretty big total, 4.5 point spread. That one should have a lot of offense as well. It sounds like Steve Kerr said the Golden State Warriors are going to slowly ramp these guys up. Some of the guys that were limited, like Klay Thompson in the last game, you're going to start to see their minutes increase slowly but surely. They're going to build these guys up. And then the last game of the night, Phoenix and Portland, 224.5, talking about a 5-point spread between these two ball clubs. So that's what you got to look forward to tonight. Let's talk about some of these picks that I mentioned earlier that I came across. Like I said, I'd be out there scouting, right? I'd be out there scouting the board. I'd be out there scouting the different sites and stuff and seeing what picks are what. But it looks like one of them has already gotten bumped here. We'll have to take a look. Let's see what I had lined up. I have Vucevic for more than 10.5 rebounds. Monty Morris for more than 4 assists. Devin Vassell for more than 15.5 points. PJ Washington for less than 3.5 assists. And Tyrese Halliburton, I had him for more than 17.5 points. Gang, they have bumped this particular play already. All right. They have bumped it already, but we're going to talk about it anyways at 18.5 and still see if the more is the way to go. Let's start things off, though, with Nikola Vucevic at 10.5 rebounds. He's taken on the Washington Wizards. Kristaps Porzingis is the man in the middle for the Wizards. And he's not very good at keeping guys off the glass. Let's just say that. If you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you probably know what I'm talking about dating back to last season. Porzingis wasn't really one of those guys who was a stopper on defense or on the boards, right? So I think Nikola Vucevic, who's coming off a strong 17 rebound performance against a tough Miami Heat squad, might be in play here at just 10.5 rebounds. So we're going to use props.cash to take a look at that. Guys, if you don't use props.cash yet, it's a great time to get signed up. Your first month of props.cash, 25% off when you use code Curry. I've got a link for you down in the description. Don't worry, you go down, you click the link, you get signed up. It's $19.99 a month. You'll save 25% off your first month. Check it out. They're going to be adding a boatload, a ton of new features for the NBA season. So definitely get on board with props.cash if you need some help with your player prop research. All right, Nikola Vucevic, let's start things off here by looking at how good he was at 10.5 rebounds. Well, last season, 42 for 79, 53%. He averaged a nice 11.2 rebounds per game. Games against the Washington Wizards last season, he had some success. Now, these first two games, he had 12 and 14 boards. That was before Kristaps Porzingis joined the team. This was post Porzingis, where he had just 5 rebounds against Washington in that game. But I will tell you this, he only played 31 minutes in that game, so did not get the full run of minutes that we had hoped for. Anyways, backing things up here, taking a look at this last 5 view using props.cash. Like I mentioned, Nikola Vucevic pulled in 17 boards against the Miami Heat to open up the season. And that game was supposed to be one that had a lower total, was supposed to be a blowout, but the Chicago Bulls had other plans. My man Vucevic played a healthy 33 minutes in that game, pulled in, like I said, a total of 17 boards, 5 of which were offensive, the rest of them defensive. So 12 defensive rebounds for Nikola Vucevic. So I like this particular pick. I think, again, going up against Kristaps Porzingis, it's not going to really have a hard time rebounding the ball against him and Kyle Kuzma, right? And who else do they have in there? Daniel Gafford? Are we really worried about Daniel Gafford off the bench? I'm not. But anyway, I've got Vucevic projected for 10.1 boards. He is at 10.5 rebounds on most sites. Now, for whatever reason, most of these sites, they are taking the under or less on Nikola Vucevic at 10.5 boards. Some pretty strong odds, too. So this one, we might see this one slip to 10 boards. Do you think this one ends up going down to 10 rebounds? And if you do think it goes down to 10 rebounds, are you going to be taking it for more or less at 10 rebounds? You guys let me know. Are we buying Nikola Vucevic for the over or for more than 10.5 rebounds? Or do we think he stays under tonight? Let me know. Let me know in the comments section, in the live chat, more or less on Vucevic's rebounds. Tell me, gang, what you're thinking. All right, Monte Morris is another one from this game. He is sitting at 4 assists right now. Monte Morris, Washington Wizard, no longer with the Denver Nuggets. Morris at 4 assists is kind of interesting, right? Because he's going to be playing alongside a lot of guys who like to shoot and score. Guys like Kuzma, who had a big game in game 1. Guys like Porzingis. Guys like Bradley Beal, obviously. So Monte Morris should have plenty of opportunities to rack up times. Why he is at 4? I don't know. But we're going to figure it out together right here, right now. So let's flip this thing over to assists. We're going to go find Monte Morris. And we'll take a look at what he did in his first game, where he racked up 6 dimes. 6 dimes against the Indiana Pacers, right? That's not too shabby. Last season as a member of the Denver Nuggets, at 3.5 assists, Monte Morris managed to hit at least 4 or more in 70% of his games. 57 for 81. So I think Monte Morris makes some sense here at just 4 dimes. I think it could end up maybe getting bumped up here. But I like this one. I think this one makes a lot of sense. I've seen some people in the industry today liking the over at 4.5. So if we're getting it at 4, we're getting some value here. One thing that you could do too is go out to NBA.com. You could look up NBA potential assists. And we used this tool last season quite a bit. This is free, by the way. It's an NBA advanced stat that you can find on NBA.com. But what you can do here is look at this season, the regular season. You can look at per game, and then you can look at different season segments. You can even take this a step further and look by a particular player or team. So in this case, we're going to go and look at a team here. Let's just switch this over to Washington. Monte Morris, he passed the ball 41 times. He played over 21 minutes, passed the ball 41 times. We talked about him ending up with 6 assists. As far as potential assists go, he had 8 potential assists, capitalized, went 6 for 8 on those potential assists, and you can see how many points that were created off of those assists. So at 4, I think that's a pretty decent number here. He had 8 potentials. We need him to go for at least 50%, to convert on at least 50% on those potential assists. Another one to maybe kind of keep an eye out on is Bradley Beal, who had 11 potential assists in game 1. So we'll have to see how things shake out, but Monty Morris at 4 assists does look pretty decent to me. Let's move ahead. Let's get you a projection on Mr. Morris here. He's projected for 4.2 dimes. We are seeing him at 4.5 on all the favorite sports books out there. He's a big betting favorite to go under at 4.5. But we talked about the game total here being pretty decent at 222.5. Monty Morris playing alongside the likes of Beal, Kuzma, and Porzingis. He should have plenty of opportunities for dimes to be dropped. And yes, Emmett, I see you talking about Bradley Beal's assists. That could be another way to go. As I mentioned, his potential assists were quite high. Bradley Beal sitting at 5.5 assists today. So maybe you go there instead of Monty Morris. But I think at 4, Monty Morris is pretty safe. All right. Moving on from that one, another particular play that's standing out from a game that is expected to be very high scoring is this young man, Devin Vassell. He managed 11 points against a Charlotte Hornets team that not very good defensively. The problem with Vassell in the first game was that, not that he didn't get opportunities, is that he shot the ball really, really poorly. But it looks like outside of Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell's going to be one of the key guys who's going to get plenty of opportunities playing for the San Antonio Spurs. So we already talked about this game being one of the highest scoring on the board tonight, 232.5 points with a spread of 2.5. So Vassell at 15.5 will have all the shots he could possibly handle, playing alongside Keldon Johnson. So let's go look at this particular game. Again, props.cash making it easy for us. San Antonio Spurs versus the Indiana Pacers. We scroll down, we find young Devin Vassell here. He is at 16.5, bump him down to 15.5. You can see he was just hitting at a 32% hit rate, but that was last season, playing alongside of DeJounte Murray, Devin White, and some of these guys. Those guys aren't in the building anymore. They're not with San Antonio anymore. So Devin Vassell has stepped into a much larger role. Now let's take a look and see what he did here in this first game against Charlotte. I mentioned he had just 11 points, but it wasn't because of the lack of opportunities or minutes or anything. He played a healthy 28, almost 29 minutes. He had 15 field goal attempts. Here's the problem. He shot just 3 of 15, just 20% from the field. But the opportunities, the attempts were definitely there. From beyond the arc, this young man went 0 for 8. 0 for 8. So if a couple more of those fall, let's say 2 3-pointers fall, he's going over the 15.5 that he set at today. And he went 5 for 8 from the free throw line as well. So if a couple more free throws fall, 1 more 3-pointer falls. We're talking about an easy cover here, right? And you see some of the metrics for the Indiana Pacers for the 21-22 season. They were not a very good team defensively. This should be an up and down track meet style game. Lots of points expected to be scored according to Vegas. Over 230 combined points by these two teams with just a 2-point spread. I like this. I think we go back to it and hope for better results from Devin Vassell tonight. All right, let's flip it over, get you a projection on this particular pick. I got him projected for a healthy 17.7 points. That's 2.2 points higher than where he's at the 15.5 number. Looking at the different sports books, gang, he is a big betting favorite to go over right now. Minus 155 at 15.5. Minus 135, minus 140. Guys, we're even seeing him at 16.5 and 17.5 points on some sites. If this isn't bumped yet, it will get bumped soon. If it's not bumped yet, let's refresh because things be bumping. Things be a-bumping. But if it's not bumped yet, it probably will be soon. It's still not bumped yet. Lost it. I lost it, gang. Where'd it go? Yeah, 15.5. Yeah, if it's not bumped yet, it will be because he's just too high on some of these other sites. 16.5, 17.5 points on some of these other books. So Vassell, for more than 15.5 points, I think looks pretty good. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and build something out together right now because I'm liking some of these. I'm going to go for Vassell over 15.5. I'm going to go with Morris over 4. Those two are the two that I like the most out of the ones we've talked about so far. Let's talk about another one. It's an assist pick, and it's PJ Washington of the New Orleans Pelicans. No, the Charlotte Hornets. I almost called it the New Orleans Hornets. This one seems a little bit high. And if you guys have questions on picks, hold them to the end. After I'm done here, just going over these few picks, we're going to take some questions, but hold those so I don't have to scroll through the chat. Hold them till the end. Hold them down. But PJ Washington at 3.5 assists here. I think this number might be just a little bit too high because things change whenever LaMelo Ball's not in the lineup. We already talked about LaMelo Ball out for the Hornets. So let's look at PJ Washington using StatMuse. Assists without LaMelo Ball logs. StatMuse completely free for you guys to check out. If you haven't, you probably should, but look at just some of these game logs here at 4 assists, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 games. 24 games. And how many times has he went over 3.5 assists in those 24 games? 1. Let's see here. Yeah, 1. Am I getting this right? Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not a very high hit rate, right? Without LaMelo Ball. Not a very high hit rate for him. So I think the 3.5 might be a little bit too rich for PJ Washington. I don't know. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 games out of the last almost 25 games. What did I say? 23? It seems a little bit high to me. Let's go take a look at PJ Washington real quick. They are playing against New Orleans. That game is probably going to have a lot of points scored between the two. But I don't know that he's going to be dropping dimes like that. 229 is the total, 6.5 point spread. So this one looked kind of interesting to me, though. Let's go take a look at it together here. PJ Washington last season, 3.5 assists, 20 for 67, just a 30% hit rate. 20 for 67, just a 30% hit rate. You could take this a step further. We kind of already did, but if we take LaMelo Ball off the floor, it's still pretty bad, right? 3 for 7, it's saying. 3 for 7, 43% at 3.5 dimes, averaging just 2.9. I mean, yeah, he's going to have these outlier games where he drops 7 dimes, but that's not really his role for the most part. So I kind of think this one's a little bit high for a guy who is just 2.3 assists per game, 20 for 67, 30%. Could be a way for you to go under. If you're looking for a play where you could take the under or less than, this one could be a good look. Let's go ahead and punch his name in here. PJ. He is projected for 3.4 assists. If we take a look at where he's at on different sports books, he is also at 3.5, but a big betting favorite to go under. You got him at minus 130, minus 138, minus 140. So the public is smashing the under on PJ Washington's assists at 3.5. So we're seeing a lot of juice flowing on the under here. I expect guys like Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward to be doing most of the ball handling, most of the facilitating for the Charlotte Hornets tonight. PJ Washington, could he fall into 4 assists? Anything could happen. It's still very early this season, but I thought this one looked particularly nice, being that he's going to be dealing with Terry Rozier and Oubre and Hayward, all these guys playing alongside of him. I feel like 3.5 assists may be a little bit too high. I could see him going for 3, and I don't know if he's going to go for much more than that. But that's another one that stood out to me. And there was another play that I had. Oh, yeah. The guy that they just pumped. Tyrese Halliburton at 18.5 points, gang. I don't need to say a whole lot about this one other than it was at 17.5. It did get bumped to 18.5 just prior to me getting into today's picks. But even at 18.5, I don't know that it's quite high enough yet. Obvious reasons. No Malcolm Brogdon means great things for Tyrese Halliburton. Let's go take a look at it together. He cleared his 15.5 point prop for us in his first game. Ended up with 26 points. right? And now we're going to run it back against the San Antonio Spurs team who's not very good defensively in a high total game with a pretty tight spread. I think Tyrese Halliburton at 18.5 is still good money. 17.5, yeah, it would have been sweeter, but 18.5 probably still good money. Probably still good money. Let's go back and take a look at like his last, I don't know, we'll say last 10 games or so. These were all obviously without Malcolm Brogdon. He had 26 in game 1 against Washington, ended up with 35, almost 36 minutes played, shot the ball 18 times, went 10 for 18 from the field, 56% field goal percentage. This guy's got the green light. 3 for 6 from beyond the arc, 3 for 3 from the free throw line. So Tyrese Halliburton at 18.5 points, still probably good. Yeah, the 17.5 would have been sweet. I don't mind it still at 18.5, like I said, in a high scoring game. Another way that you could go, this pick also paid off for us. Instead of just taking Tyrese Halliburton for points, you could also look at his points plus assists. Now, this number was at 25.5 in game 1. It is now 2 points higher at 27.5. 27.5, probably still good money, though, because his role is just going to be very, very big for this Indiana Pacers team. It's just going to be what it is. He finished with 33 points plus assists in game 1 versus Washington at 27.5. He was 5 for 10 over his last 10 games. So this could be another way to go. I don't mind this one either. But points or points plus assists on Halliburton, this number is going to continue to go up throughout the early stages of the NBA season. I just don't see it cooling off anytime soon if he continues to have the role that he has in game 1 and to end the season like he did. You know, he just was doing everything for Indiana. Anyway, he's projected for 18.6 points, which is more than 18.5. We're seeing him at 17.5 on the books. Big betting favorite at 17.5. So if you got him at 17.5, you got some value there. He is at 18.5 on some sites. Slight betting favorite to go under. I think they're crazy for taking the under 18.5. I think this guy still should go for 19 or more. Let's also take a look at his points plus assist projection, which is at 28.1. We've got him at 27.5 points plus assists here on PrizePicks. At 27.5, he is a betting favorite to go over. At 28.5, even on FanDuel, he is a betting favorite to go under. So maybe you just take the points plus assists, but I'm going to go ahead and go with it. We're going to do a little 3-pick. Vassell, Morris, and Halliburton. The reason I'm including Morris at 4 assists is because there's the push factor. And if you do a 3-pick flex play on PrizePicks, let's say Morris does end up with 4 assists, exactly 4 assists, and the other 2 guys end up going for more than their projection, well, you've just secretly unlocked a 3x payout. Normally when you go 3 for 3 on a flex, it's 2.25x payout. But if you go 2 hits with 1 push, it then reverts to a 2-pick power play, and you've now unlocked the 3x payout. So you get the safety of a flex play, right, by going 3-pick flex. In case one of these picks hit, or misses rather, in case one misses and the other 2 hit, you still get a little bit of money. You still would make 1.25x. So you'd squeeze out a little bit of profit even if you went 2 out of 3. So you get the safety of a flex, but you get the upside of a power play. So I'm going to just put 25 on it. We're going to go with those 3. Vassell over points, Morris over 4 assists. Maybe he ends up in a tie or a push. That's okay. And then Tyrese Halliburton for more than 27.5 points plus assists. But there you go. Those are some picks that we talked about. We talked about Vucevic over rebounds. We talked about Halliburton over on points or over on points plus assists. We talked about Vassell over 15.5 points. We talked about Monty Morris over 4 assists. I thought that one looked good. PJ Washington for less than 3.5 assists. So those are some picks for you to gnaw on a little bit, dig in a little bit deeper. Now, if you guys have questions, I'd be happy to take them. Let me know what you guys have for me to look at, and I'll do the research for you. I'll do it for you. Let's take a look. I'm going to scroll up a little bit, try to get to some of the ones that you guys have already dropped. Craig says 79 people watching and only 21 likes. Come on, peeps. Hit that button for the prop goat Curry. I appreciate all the likes. Appreciate all the support, all the new subscribers. Shout out to T-Bone, one of our new subscribers. Steve W. subscribed recently. We've got James LaFouche. Thanks for subscribing. Ja'Cory Wiley with the sub. Italian Beast. I see you. Thanks for subscribing. CB5248 subscribed recently. Thanks for subbing. Roy Ram. Thanks for the sub. Wiz Fizz, a new subscriber. Thank you for subbing to the channel as well. Appreciate all the support, gang. Everyday Fantasy says smash Monty Morris. He was at 4.5 assists on Wednesday and had 6. Yeah, that's the one we talked about. He's at 4 assists today. So I do like him for more than 4 assists. I think that's a good look. Let's see here. Philip says, what time does happy hour start? I think it's normally 1 p.m. Eastern time. I could be wrong on that. Could be 3 p.m. 1 p.m., 3 p.m., something along those lines. Amit Flint said, check out Bradley Beal's assist. We did talk about all the potential assists that Bradley Beal had in the first game. 11 potential assists, leading the Wizards by far with 11 potential assists. So, yeah, Bradley Beal could be a good look. He's at 5.5 dimes today. If you're interested in Bradley Beal's projected assists, I got you. I got you right now. Got him projected for 7.2. That's a pretty big number. 7.2, but he is a betting favorite to go under on some of these sites. So public's not liking it so much, even though you like it, my friend. Mark H is saying, how about Tyrese Halliburton's points at 18.5, but his first half points only 8.5? Well, that could be a little bit of value. Taking some first half only plays has worked out in our favor before. My man had 17 first half points against Washington in game 1. One way that you could do some first half player prop research is with StatMuse. I think it's coming soon to Props.cash, but you can go Tyrese Halliburton first half points without Malcolm Brogdon logs, right? This is the way that you can do some of this first half player prop research. And you can kind of get an idea of how many points he scored in games without Malcolm Brogdon since joining the Indiana Pacers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's 5 of his last 6 games. 5 of his last 6 in games played without Brogdon. That's not too shabby. You see some of the other games that he's posted here, 16, 8, 12, 8, 10, 8, 14. It's not a bad look, not a bad way to go. If you wanted to take the over or more, Tyrese Halliburton, 8.5 points, I'm not too mad at that. They have not bumped his first half points up yet, despite bumping his full game points up to 18.5. Looking through here, seeing what other questions, comments, or concerns you guys have. I see the real Quan asking about, what about Devin Vassell's rebounds under? Well, I told you guys that I liked his points at 15.5 because he got so many opportunities in game 1 of the early NBA season. But you guys are saying, what about Vassell's rebounds under? Well, he's not up on the board. So maybe you're playing on a site that does have Devin Vassell for rebounds. We do not have him here on PrizePicks. Let's take a look real quick, though. I can pull that up real fast. He only had 2 rebounds against Charlotte. 2 rebounds against the Hornets to open up the season. You can see what he did to close out the last season, 2, 4, 2, and then he has 2 in the opener. So maybe you take Vassell for less than however many rebounds he's set at today. Is it 4.5 boards? If it's 4.5 boards on wherever you're playing, maybe that is a little bit too high for the young guy. Getting you a projection. I've got him projected for 4.3 rebounds. And he's a betting favorite to go under at 4.5 on most books here at minus 146, minus 145 odds. So you might be onto something there, Mr. Quan. Jimmy's asking, what about Pascal Siakam's assists? Well, what about him? Let's go take a look. Playing the Brooklyn Nets tonight. His assists are set at 4 here on PrizePicks. Mr. Jimmy, I'm assuming you're wanting to go less on 4 assists for Siakam, just based on what you're seeing here over his last 5 games. Let me know if I'm right or wrong on that. But I'm assuming, because you did not You did not specify, but I'm assuming you're wanting to go for less. Take the under on Pascal Siakam at 4 assists. Is that right? Do I have that right? At 3.5 assists, he has gone over 3.5 assists in 77% of his games. That means he has gone for 4 or more assists in 77% of the game. So maybe you want to take the over. I don't know what direction you're wanting to go here, but 77% at 4 or more assists looks pretty good. When we bump it up to 4.5, 60% hit rate. Still very good hit rates. 45 for 75. Although he did open the season with just 1 dime being dropped against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But Cavaliers are a tough team defensively. Brooklyn, probably not so tough, right? Not as tough. Let's move ahead here. I'll get you a little projection on Mr. Siakam, and we'll keep this ball rolling. Get to as many of your questions as possible. Again, gang, the best way to get your question highlighted or to guarantee yourself that I see it and talk about it here and answer it for you is using super chats. Super chats not only help support the channel, but it will guarantee that I see your question and help you with that player prop question that you may have. But anyway, Siakam at 4.5 assists. He is a betting favorite to go under on the books, which is why we're getting him at 4 today. And then I have him projected at 3.7. 3.7, according to our friends at Fantasy Labs. So there you go, Jimmy. Let's see. Jason Tatum over rebounds is a steal. Let's just quickly pop into that one. This fella here's really liking Jason Tatum. Brody? Is that how you say your name? Or is it Brode? I don't know. I'm guessing, man. I'm taking shots. But Jason Tatum at 7.5 boards. He's going to be without Robert Williams. And without Robert Williams, he does tend to rebound the basketball a bit better. I'm just going to pull a projection for you. Tatum ended up pulling in a total of 12 rebounds in the first game of the season. He's at 7.5 today. He is a betting favorite to go under 7.5. Minus 150. I mean, that's some pretty strong action on a site like BetMGM on the under, but his projection's at 8.8, which is higher than 7.5. So the betting public says we're taking less on 7.5, but the projections say maybe you should be thinking about the over. So we're kind of torn on that one, but you're saying you like it. So guys, that was for Mr. Brody. No Filter saying he's liking DeJounte Murray's assist. He's putting the lock next to it, thinking that the dimes against the Orlando Magic will be there for DeJounte Murray. Hey, ZXR Skills, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let's look at DeJounte Murray's assists real quick. Obviously, new situation, new scene for him. He's with the Atlanta Hawks, no longer with the Spurs, right? Had 11 assists against Houston to open up the season, which reminds me, there was another pick. This particular guy is playing Houston tonight. I don't know if he's on the board yet, but you see DeJounte Murray with 11 assists, right? I don't see him up on the board, but when they put Ja Morant up on the board, consider his assists. If they're at 7.5 or 8, you might want to take the over on Ja Morant's assists versus Houston tonight. I like that one too. But anyway, back to DeJounte Murray. Yes, he had 11 assists in his first game of the season. I'm going to just quickly get you a projection on this one, so that I can get to ZXR Skills Super Chat. Appreciate the Super Chat, by the way. Murray's at 7.7 projected assists. On most sports books, he's a betting favorite to go over, but we are seeing some mixed action here. Some sites, people are taking the over. Some sites, they are taking the under. So ZXR Skills says, hey, CJ, keep up the great work. I'm liking the over on Keldon Johnson's rebounds tonight. What do you think? All right, Mr. ZXR Skills, you left the super chat. You're playing the game. I appreciate the super chat. It goes a long way to help support the channel, help support the show and the content. Let's look into it. Keldon Johnson's rebounds tonight. What do you think? Well, we had somebody already saying that they'd like Devin Vassell to go for less than his rebound line at 4.5. So if we think he goes for less rebounds, then maybe Keldon Johnson goes for more than 6.5 rebounds, right? It's going to be a game that will have a lot of points, a lot of offense. The more shots that go up, the more opportunities for players to snatch boards, right? He did have 11 rebounds against Charlotte in what was an up-tempo, high-scoring affair. So I could see where you would probably want to get on some Keldon Johnson rebounds. Let's take a look at something else here. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Using the NBA Advanced Stats features here on NBA.com, you could go to this rebounding section here, and then let's see if we can pull up all teams. We'll switch this to the San Antonio Spurs, and we'll scroll down and get some stats. All right, cool. So what we're looking at here is rebound chances. So we talked about potential assists. Well, this is something called rebound chances. So who's leading the team in rebound chances or rebound opportunities? Think of these as rebound opportunities, right? It is none other than Keldon Johnson, who led the team with 16 rebound chances. Okay? Which means at his line at 6.5, let's just say he has 16 rebound chances again tonight, right? He just needs to go 7 for 16. So of the 16 chances he may or may not be afforded, we're just going to assume that maybe he gets around 16 rebound chances tonight. He doesn't even have to go 50%. He could go less than 50% on his conversion rate on those chances. Now, his rebound chance percentage was 68.8%. Meaning of the rebound opportunities on the team, he had the lion's share of those opportunities at 68.8%. So that's pretty good. I think that looks pretty darn good. I think you might be onto something here for a guy who dominated the rebound chances. Right behind him was their big man, Jakob Poeltl, with 15 rebound chances. So if this continues to be a thing here where Keldon Johnson's getting on the boards, then you might be onto something, taking the over or more at 6.5. He turned those 16 rebound chances into 11 rebounds in just 29.7 minutes played. Imagine if he plays 30 plus minutes tonight, how many rebound chances and total rebounds he could end up with. Very helpful tool to let you guys see who's getting the most rebound opportunities on the team. But yes, Keldon Johnson looking pretty good here just based off of one game. It's a very small sample size. Let's not go too crazy, right? But as far as a projection for Keldon Johnson, I got him projected for a solid little 7 rebounds, which is more than 6.5 at 6.5 on your favorite sports books and betting sites. He is an odds-on betting favorite to go over. Minus 136, minus 140, minus 150. So yeah, a lot of juice coming in on Keldon Johnson's over. Again, one game, small sample size, but he did lead the San Antonio Spurs in that one game in just 29.7 minutes played in rebound chances. So ZXR Skills, I hope this answers your question. I hope you feel like you got your money's worth with this deep dive on Keldon Johnson's rebounds. Let me know what other questions you guys may have. Let's see here. Osmosis Jones coming through with a message here. Thank you for that. He says, Vucevic over rebounds, my guy, and possibly Gobert. Now, I don't know if you got in here late or not. You may have gotten in here late, but I don't know if you did or not. We'll just highlight the more on Keldon Johnson. That's for ZXR Skills. But we did talk Vucevic at the very top of the show. He was maybe the first pick we talked about at 10.5 rebounds. At 10.5 rebounds. So what we could do is put Vucevic in this little NBA Advanced Stats machine here. We'll switch this up, change it from the San Antonio Spurs to the Chicago Bulls. Click Get Stats. And then we'll get our scroll on here. We'll look at the rebound chances for the Bulls. My goodness gracious sakes alive. When it comes to rebound chances, again, one game sample size, so it looks really good here, but one game sample size. Nikola Vucevic had 21 rebound chances. The next highest guy on the team was Dosunmu with 11 rebound chances, meaning Vucevic nearly doubled the rebound chances of the next closest guy on his team. 21 rebound chances is tremendous. All right, dominated 81% of the rebound chances. Absolutely dominated the boards for the Chicago Bulls. All right, finished with 17 boards, played over 33 minutes in that game, If we see an increase in minutes tonight, being that it's his second game, I could easily see him getting elevated to, closer to 36 to 38 minutes potentially, especially if the game stays competitive. These rebound chances are insane. 21 opportunities to grab a rebound, and he pulled in 17 of the 21. That's huge. That is very big, very good for Nikola Vucevic. So yes, Osmosis Jones, we talked about this one. And I did have it queued up as a play that I liked because he's going to go against this dude, Kristaps Porzingis. And again, you Mavericks fans know Porzingis ain't keeping anybody off the glass. He ain't keeping anybody off the boards. Kristaps Porzingis is going to have his hands full with Nikola Vucevic. So yeah, I can get on board with some Vucci, man. I like it, Osmosis Jones. You say possibly Gobert. I could also see Gobert having a big game. Gobert has been Gobert Chamberlain, man. Rudy Chamberlain. Wilt Gobert. I don't know. We need to change the guy's name because he has been scoring the ball really well so far for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'd expect them to feature him once again tonight against his former team. I wouldn't mind maybe like a Gobert points plus rebounds line, being that he has scored so well. Or maybe even just going purely fantasy score because he does get the shot blocks, right? He does come up with a steal or two from time to time. So you could go Gobert maybe for points and rebounds. You could go Gobert for fantasy score, but I ain't mad at you liking some Gobert tonight. I'm going to get you projections on both of these guys. Vucevic, 10.1. I think that's a little light. I do think that that's a little bit low. Gobert, we talked about him. He's at 12.6 projected rebounds. Again, I think that's a little bit light. At 14.5 on your favorite books, he's a big betting favorite to go over. We talked about possibly going with his points plus rebounds. Those are set at 30. So that's a combination of points and rebounds. And then we also talked about his fantasy score. Let's take a look at Gobert's fantasy score real quick. He is at, well, they don't have one. All right, well, they're holding out on us. No fantasy score for Gobert yet. But points and rebounds are set at 31.5. Points, rebounds, and assists, 32.5. So I don't know. That could be a good move if you're liking some Gobert. Let's see here. Trying to get through the Chaz. Thank you so much for the super chat. Chaz is saying, what about, is that DeJounte Murray's rebounds and assists and McDaniel's rebound? We talked DeJounte Murray definitely for assists. We can go back here and use this little handy dandy tool. Switch this from rebounding if you guys want and go take a look at the passing. I believe it's under passing. Yeah. And then you can switch this to advanced filters, choose the team that you want to look into. In this case, it's the Atlanta Hawks. And we're going to be looking at DeJounte Murray. Let's see what his line is sitting at right here on PrizePicks. You're liking the rebounds and assists for DeJounte Murray at 14.5. All right, gotcha. Roger that. All right, click Get Stats, and it should generate that for you. DeJounte Murray had 11 assists. He was second on the team in potential assists. Trae Young was number one in potential assists with 18. DeJounte Murray right behind him with 17 potential assists. Of the 18 potentials, Trae Young had 13 dimes. Of the 17 potentials for Murray, he had 11 dimes. As far as passes made, these guys were pretty much dead even. 43 passes by Trae Young, 44 passes for DeJounte Murray. So these guys are your primary ball handlers for Atlanta. There will be a sort of a split load. If it's not Trae Young dropping a dime, it's going to be DeJounte Murray and vice versa. So there you go. I mean, both of these guys are just dominating the potential assists for their teams. Both of them had double-digit assists, which is kind of surprising. So a couple of ball hogs here. Expect both of these guys to continue to dominate the basketball. You also asked about the rebounds. Well, we could go look at the rebound chances, rebound opportunities for DeJounte Murray. Again, click Advanced Stats. Change this to the team that you want to look into. In this case, the Atlanta Hawks. Click Get Stats, and you can dig into this stuff for yourself. As far as rebound chances go, on the Atlanta Hawks, DeJounte only had 8 rebound chances. Pulled in 5 boards on those 8 chances, which is more than 50%, so pretty decent conversion rate. But he's going to be dealing with the likes of Clint Capella with 18 rebound chances, John Collins with 14, Okongwu with 13. And then on the other side of this game, you got some big people for the Orlando Magic. I'm talking Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba. You got Franz Wagner, who stands 6'10", Paolo Banchero, who stands 6'10". You got Bol, who received a lot of minutes. He's a 7-footer with over a 7'6" wingspan. I mean, there's going to be some long fellas out there. Clint Capella, Okongwu, Carter Jr., Mo Bamba, Bol. I mean, he's dealing with a lot of 6'10" and taller guys, 6'8" and taller guys. So I'm a little bit worried about DeJounte Murray's upside when it comes to rebounds tonight, playing with all of these massive individuals. So for me, I'd probably stay away from the rebounds. Maybe you just take the pure assist on their own at 7.5. That may not be a bad look. Let's get you a projection on the assists, and we'll go from there and see what else you guys are talking about here. 7.7. Projected assists at 7.5 on the books. It looks like most of the action is slightly favoring the over. So there you go, Chaz. I would stay away from the rebounds on Murray just because he's dealing with a bunch of trees tonight. And I would stick to maybe just purely the assists. And then you're talking about McDaniels, right? McDaniels rebounds as well. Let's look at those. Oh, McDaniels from Minnesota. You're liking the rebounds over at 3.5. Another guy who's playing alongside the likes of Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, right? And then on the flip side, Utah's got their own giants that he will have to contend with. But he's at 3.5, ended up pulling in 6 boards against OKC. So again, we go back to this NBA page here. We could take a look at what Jaden McDaniels did for the Minnesota Timberwolves when it came to rebounding in that one game. Again, can't stress this is enough. This is just a 1-game sample size, guys. I don't know how much faith we can put into this, but in the future, as we get more game logs, more data, more info for us to look at, you go right here and you could go ahead and research this stuff further. But Rudy Gobert obviously dominated the rebound chances for the Minnesota Timberwolves, followed by Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell. Jaden McDaniels was tied for third with D'Lo at 10 rebound chances. He turned those 10 rebound chances into 6 boards. So that's a 60% conversion rate, right? But I'm a little bit worried. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns was down there at just 9 rebound chances. I'm a little bit worried about Jaden McDaniels tonight. Did he get lucky going 6 for 10, basically? Turning those rebound chances into 6 boards? He may have gotten lucky, gang. But let's say he gets around 10 tonight. He only needs 4 rebounds. We're not talking about a really high number here. There's a lot of different props on the board, a lot of different ways to go. But Jaden McDaniels is projected for 4.3 boards. He is a betting favorite to go over on your favorite sports books as well at 3.5. So maybe you go there. Maybe you do. I mean, there could be a lot of different ways to go tonight. J508 says, I'd fade McDaniels because OKC does not have the best shot selection. Mr. TD says, I'm only here because of the choice of the thumbnail. I can't even play on this site. Mr. TD, salute to you. My hope was that the thumbnail would get some eyeballs and some clicks. I'm glad that you like my double Jimmy, the Butler brothers, that I put on today's thumbnail. I thought it was pretty interesting to see Jimmy Butler with no facial hair and a lot of long hair on his head. Anyways, gang, it's been about an hour. I appreciate the super chats. Thank you for those who decided to get those super chats out there to me. Like I said, guys, going forward, that's going to be the number one way to get your question answered. I hope we talked about some picks that lead you to some money. If not, well, hey, there's always next time. And next time is going to be Monday. You'll catch me back here, 12 p.m. Eastern time, talking more Prize Picks plays for you guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you're an NBA fan, get subscribed. I post all kind of different NBA content, shorts, and other, crazy little NBA related videos. So I'll be doing that all season long. Appreciate you guys. Good luck tonight on all your picks. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.